For me and the Lord, we got an understanding. We're on a mission from God.
And all I have to say is, drizzle, drizzle.
They shouldn't have given you Ashy Bloke's YouTube.
Cursed be the ground, for our sake. Both thorns and thistles it shall bring forth for us. For out of the ground we were taken, for the dust we are. And to the dust we shall return.
I'm done with life, and it's all Jermaine's fault. It's always Jermaine's fault. I'm done.
All right, good people. Punching the clock on Monday. Okay. This is also a very highly requested video. It's been making the rounds. I don't normally watch his material, so people have to share it with me. Even though I peek in every now and then to see if he says something crazy, but for the most part, I don't watch his material. So this was sent to me. At first, I think it was on an alternate channel, and then Mr. Z covered it. Sergeant Willie Pete covered it. A few other people covered it, and basically, I think this is behind the Deontay Kyle videos we were doing on Deontay Kyle. Anyhow, I'm listening batting first. I knew you'd be back. Joe's straight to second. Okay. Adric batting third. Luther batting cleanup. Turtle Bitcoin. Wagner. Captain Obvious. Yeah, I did. I'm going to do something. Turtle Bitcoin, I'm actually going to do something later on that about the inside China business, because he's made about 4 or 5 of those. So I'm going to, I think later on tonight, if I get time, I'll probably be on my Master Teachers Respond channel, and I'll do not analysis but a reaction to those videos, because we've talked about it, because I think I talked to you about it, and exactly what I was saying about the currency needing to be stable for them to use it. That's what I was saying. Anyhow, Captain Obvious, what's going on? Louis, what's happening? Shannon, what's going on? He's 8th. Not quite the catcher spot, Dr. Goodbar. Freezing Triple OG, what's happening? Rain Lab, what's happening? Inspired Truth. We'll see if it's gonna be fun, man. It's like these cats are kind of boring to me. Said Dusty the Second checking in. Heard that. How's the weather in NYC? Michael, what's going on? Independent POV, what's happening? I don't know, man. FD got SWP heated. SWP told FD to debate Dr. T.S.on Johnson. FD said, cut me a check for 10K. Man, we don't need Dr. T's not even going to get involved in that. Okay, he actually sent me the video. But I told Dr. T keep his shoes clean. Basically, he would be Dr. T's student. This is going to be a good one. Tonight's menu, curried beef over seasoned rice. All right. I love curried beef. Steamed veggies, homemade biscuits. Okay. All right. That's fire. Heard that. Charles, what's up? Good show last night, Charles. Quentin, what's going on? Victor. Indigo Flow, what's happening? Hurricane Greg. Martin Muhammad, what's going on? Gundam, what's happening? John Smith. Ray Knowles, what's happening? Pandas to the BMI over 30 plus group. You need to revise the BW sitting on the Bears. I heard that. It's not gonna be a rant, man. It's not gonna be a rant. I hope it's not a rant. Got to leave that guy alone. His point is the black magistrate has served its purpose and now is obsolete. I don't know. What do you believe, Craig? By the way, folks, hit the thumbs up button as you enter this chat room. Likes are free. Actually, it has not, especially since the environment is changing, and we need to warn these guys what's going on with the changing environment, especially since the big heads, the coffee girls, and the reach backs are increasing at an alarming rate. So we are probably needed now more than ever. Prince, what's going on? Snowman, what's up? Money Motion, what's going on? Mel L, what's going on? Hey, Snowman, they're ripping Angel Reese a new one right now. Philip, what's going on? Kevin, Luther, Navone, Brooklyn's Finest. Yeah, I did see. I'm shocked that FDSG responded, man. He's talking about what he was talking about that. He's talking about that Tommy Curry doesn't mess with us, right? But basically, Tommy Curry called them out personally. Okay, called them out personally about how he don't fuck with them. Okay, the bread tubers and folks like that. Called them out personally. John Smith, I think I might go find that and cut that out. Paul, what's up? Horowitz, what's happening? B-Row, what's going on? Luke, Willie R, what's going on? Shannon Green, what's going on? Vincent, what's happening? Tooth Trib, St. Trey. Theo, what's going on? Panda bears can get humped by Chewbacca. Oh, I don't think Chewbacca would lower himself to hump a panda. John Smith, what's up? I don't think Chewbacca would lower himself that low. Dr. L's FD got everyone upset. I'm looking forward. I don't know why, man. Why are you guys upset over FD Signifier? What did he say? I mean, other than him doing the normal stuff, FD Signifier hasn't done anything that hasn't happened to us over the past 15 years. Okay. And to go Flo, he's scared. He's tried to deflect by saying Curry ain't down with this, but it has nothing to do with him debating. Curry called him out by name. And yeah, he did. Called him out by name. Curry's not going to debate him because Curry said he's not going to lower himself. Luke Brandt, what's going on? Mr. DG planning to deploy submarines in this regard to. You know what? I think it's more for show because they really, for the most part, they don't really need them. Okay, because Gavin Newsom didn't call for them, so they really don't need them. And for a city like Los Angeles, 2,000 National Guard troops is not going to do squat. Okay, because you got in a city of 10 million, and half of those are Latinos. It's not going to do squat. Basically, what really is a show of force, and if they're fighting over illegal immigrants, all they're going to do is actually make it worse. That's all they're going to do. Rest in peace. That's the homie, man. Sly Stone. He made it 82, man, which is a lot further than I thought he would make. CA, what's going on? Who else is Sinistar? What's happening? Painless, what's happening? There's Doc. What's going on? The Yo, what's happening? What else we got? Ellis, what's happening? J Dog. Count Siku. Shannon Green, what's going on? Galen Wells, what's happening? IBMOR. Yeah, I got a lot of requests for analyzing him, man. It's like, yeah. KT Machine, he's really not saying very much, okay? He's a panderer. So panderers kind of repeat talking points. KP, Savant, Imlavo, Subby just paying my pennies on the dollars for top black male tutelage. 2, I think OKC's pace is a little too much for Indiana. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Indiana's on a mission from God. Okay. Reginald Williams, Tunnel Runner, what's up? See Johnny Anderson, what's happening? Joe's. Yvonne, what's going on? Big Trick, what's happening? There's Don Calypso, what's going on? The Toxic, what's going on? Very Little. Ben Kanan, what's going on? Supreme Pivot, what's up? Babu. Detroit, what's going on? KWR, what's going on? 550. Brooklyn's Finest. Red Falls Black. Dr. T said he had Dr. Curry at his house. Yeah. Oh yeah, they're friends. They're old friends, as a matter of fact. That's how I know Dr. Curry. Havelock, what's happening? Obsidian Nomad, what's happening? FD led me to you. I heard that Sergeant Willie Pete's reaction. Sergeant Willie Pete was more annoyed. Let's see who else we got. Brian Soof, what's going on? Black Males. Archer, where you been, Archer? Let's see. TB. Nama, what's going on? Pragmatic Prime. And that's it. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we got. Actually, I'm going to be reacting to the video he put up called "The Manosphere is Evolving." Okay, and this is he put this up in defense of Deontay. Is it Deontay Kyle? I think that's his name. I can never remember the guy's name, but this is "The Manosphere is Evolving." This is on his B-Sides channel. Anyhow, even this asshole, man, go give him a like if we use this video. Go give him a thumbs up, even though he probably doesn't need it, according to him. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it started. I mean, one if you guys can hear it.
But for the first time in a while, I think we are too. So I touched on this on my Twitch channel a little while ago. I think I even released a little
one if you guys can hear it.
Video about it. But about a week and a half ago, a bunch of people, a bunch of the worst types of dudes, to be honest, got really mad at Deontay Kyle for saying some shit that I think needed to be said. When I play this and you hear Deontay talk, you're gonna be like, oh, I get it. But let's hear this real quick.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
Yeah.
And you are accountable.
It's bullshit. Majority of men don't even approach women. The majority of young men nowadays don't even approach them. Okay, that's why they're complaining. That's why it's bullshit. Okay, you got women all over TikTok and all over Twitter and all over YouTube complaining that men are not showing up to approach them. It's bullshit.
For that as well. You can call it pandering.
It is
if I was up here taping for white women.
No, bullshit, okay? White women are complaining too. Bullshit, okay?
You wouldn't even mention that word. If I was up here taping for Hispanic women, you wouldn't even call.
Oh, we do. We call white men that do that shit panderish too. Yes, we do. They're panda bears too.
Call it pandering. Only when we take pride and show love to black women do you call it pandering.
Now, if you take it up for white women and Hispanic women, they call you a coon. It's a different word for it, and we got those too.
Deontay Kyle of the Grits and Nets podcast was basically just responding to the energy that was being put out there by a lot of these dudes around Tory Lanez and Diddy, people talking about free Diddy as if
those are your folks about free Diddy, okay? Tory Lanez is a completely different story, okay? Tory Lanez is a completely different story, okay? As far as Cassie is concerned, I don't talk about Cassie because she knows what she's getting into, okay? And she stayed, okay? Same thing with any other of those chicks. Some of the other dudes, okay, that Diddy was diddling. at them freak off parties. Okay. Same thing with the chicks at Epstein.
If Diddy was not caught on camera abusing Cassie this time last year, and that all these dudes were clearly on board for a second with that, but as soon as Cassie showed up and started pointing out how she was treated, it's like seeing a woman to these niggas. It just forces
everybody. The thing is, that's what we call him pandering. You forget who she was and what she did and the avenue that she was in. And she wasn't there for like a 10 days or 10 months. She was there for 10 years. Okay.
them back into
nobody in the manosphere is backing Diddy on what the fuck he did. Nobody. In fact, nobody in the manosphere even likes Diddy.
a misogyny hole where they cannot deal with the idea of engaging with another woman as a human. That red pill ideology completely comes back up to the surface.
In other words, this motherfucker just lies faster. Like my fathers used to say, this motherfucker lies faster than a horse can trot. Okay, these are outright lies. Okay.
And a lot of other folks, a lot of other men, sadly, online, and this is important for me to point out, they seem to not be bothered by this. And they seem to be bothered by the idea that someone like Deontay Kyle or these other men publicly take issue with this nonsense. And for a while now, while I've dabbled in talking about manosphere stuff, I've mostly kind of, not engaged with it because I think building something bigger than the manosphere is more valuable than at every turn trying to engage with, debunk, or fight manosphere type energy and attitudes. However, I think it's time to get back in the ring at this point, because on one end, we're probably closer than we've ever been at actually completely turning the tables on red pill nonsense.
Bullshit. Okay. Actually, you're not. Actually, you're not. Actually, you're not. Okay. Actually, you're not. Basically, because you're looking at a local phenomenon. If at that, okay, even that is not that, because the environment is not there for you turning the tables on red pill content. In fact, the women are preaching red pill content. I might do that one tomorrow by Crystal and Kara's and who's an anti-manosphere chick, and Nicole and Nicole, I forget her last name. Nicole, that was actually anti-manosphere chick talking the same stuff that we said with the same talking points. Okay. I told Z and everyone that Deontay is no one to focus on with his scripted lines of intersectional. He talks about lots of stuff. FD played attention games. Okay, yeah. I mean, he's not. He's not. That's why I'm saying that's why when you guys asked me about Deontay, even then when I did the thing about Deontay Cole, I said, why is he important to you guys? Because I couldn't see it. Because what Deontay Cole is a mixture of pro-black, woman is God shit versus mixed with intersectional feminism. Okay, which the two really don't mix. Which is why his when you actually look at the whole video, okay, it's all scrambled because the two things don't mix.
Nonsense, at least within black male spaces. But at the same time, it's also obvious that the red pill is evolving and becoming a little bit more dangerous and insidious in ways that I don't think people are paying attention to. I don't think I have to explain the red pill too tough at this point. You pretty much probably already know if you're watching me. But for anyone not knowledgeable, the red pill is one of many names used to describe the manosphere, a loosely associated genre of misogynistic content that has been online for really well over a decade at this point, but saw
like 20 years, but go ahead.
Exponential growth in the last few years, especially during the COVID lockdowns. From 2020 to 2023, there was a meteoric rise of people like Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Fresh and Fit, Jordan Peterson, the late Kevin Samuels, and plenty of others. You might think all those names can't be grouped together, but you'll be wrong, and I've already made 2 long-ass videos about it, so go watch those. I'm not going over it again. However,
they can be grouped together because Jordan Peterson didn't start with us, but he finished with us, okay, because that's where the money was, okay? Basically, same thing with
from 2023 to
Sneeko.
now, those ties have shifted somewhat. Fresh and Fit were demonetized. Sneeko was a weirdo, and people.
Sneeko's a weirdo, okay. Fresh and Fit, but you're still mentioning them, okay. You still mention them. Just because they're demonetized doesn't mean anything. They still have impact. They're still there.
Seem to finally be realizing this. Andrew Tate got arrested and has seemingly been trying to stay out of the spotlight.
Yeah, because he wants to stay alive. And the thing is, Andrew Tate is a symbol, okay? That doesn't mean that the movement has stopped. The movement was the guys. Remember, the movement was there way before Kevin and way before Andrew Tate. Okay.
Jordan Peterson kind of lost his mind off benzos and shifted his
See, this is the diss that's coming. Okay, this is the diss track.
focus to, supporting a genocide. So I guess it got worse. And Kevin said,
and also all you left wingers that especially in Congress, that support the genocide. Okay.
Samuels died alone.
No,
How
he
ironic.
didn't.
With
No, he did not die alone.
these flag bearers, you would think that the manosphere would shrivel up and die, and you be right for the most part, right? For the black manosphere in particular, Samuels was their one crossover superstar, and without him, they mostly returned to their musty basements and group chats on Discord. And
not really. We're all over the place. Okay. He was a crossover superstar. He was a crossover. Okay. But thing is, guess what? You think it's about people like me trying to get attention, in the face of YouTube's demonetization. Okay. It's not. Okay. Fresh and Fit would not be who they were if it wasn't for Kevin. Okay. All these people would not be where they were if it wasn't for the black manosphere.
Calls doing the same debates they have been doing for the last decade and a half. White red pill spaces, for various reasons, have always struggled to maintain overt visibility. And while they're still very visible and being covered more by mainstream audiences, overall, it felt like a lot of those consumers of red pill content between 2020 and 2023 started to realize they were being grifted, maybe went outside and actually tried to talk to women. And a lot of them began to...
No, they haven't. In fact, it's gotten worse. It's bullshit. They went outside and had to actually try to talk to women. No, they haven't. Okay. Which is why women complain about the female loneliness. In fact, it's reverted. In fact, the movements that... as he doesn't point out, as passport bros, okay? MGTOW is in China right now, okay? Spreading like wildfire. It's global.
Move on. Another big factor is that Donald Trump won again. So a benefit of that is that they're kind of in a refractory period.
No, we're not in a refractory period. In fact, we're moving forward. In fact, that's why black women complain about them losing 300,000 jobs and black men gaining 100,000 jobs. It's not a refractory period. What the fuck you talking about?
That's gross, but it is what it is. With their,
you can tell he's talking to females. Okay?
Their avatar in the White House right now, they just don't have as much energy to go out and be awful like they used to be. But this is also what scares me, because in this previous presidential election, a lot of data clearly indicates that young men for the first time seem to move right in their voting habits, not just
seem to move right. As far as voting habits, okay, seem to move right. They had been moving right, okay,
in their professed ideology, which is something that's always happened, but it had a tangible effect on outcomes of elections.
But we're losing power, we're losing steam, we're losing relevance, huh?
And although it's not by nearly the same margin, this also includes young black men. After years of being surrounded by these images and this red pill content, there were real consequences in the political world. And this has not gone unnoticed by political actors on the right. Trump was very actively seeking out the attention of audiences from...
Oh, really? He was? Huh. But all of a sudden, the manosphere shriveled up and lost power and lost steam, really.
Vaughn to Aiden Ross, and of course Joe Rogan. Not officially red pill figures, but very red pill sensitive, red pill adjacent, if you will. And we'll come back to what that means in a second. Another thing that's happening right now is that rapper or singer, mid-tier goblin guy Tory Lanez is having a retrial in the court of public opinion all over Twitter and social media. People,
for a very good reason. Okay. Thank you, Garrett. This took Taibo class. Oh, a Taibo class. He thinks he's a badass now. Yep. It's not even a class. He did it online. He did it from a tape.
People are saying free Tory, and they're talking about new evidence that has never, none of this stuff is relevant, nor will ever be in court. But it didn't stop a politician in Florida, the whole other side of the country where this shit happens, who definitely knows nothing about Tory Lanez or hip hop or Meg Thee Stallion and doesn't care about that shit either. But this woman knows that if she brings this up, it will activate a certain audience to pay attention to and undergird her politics. This woman jumped in the conversation, getting signed affidavits and alleged witnesses, stuff that will never make it to a courtroom, mind you. But it worked.
It will make it to a courtroom, sir. It will.
Brought her attention, and we've seen Fox News and other conservative news sites report on some of this stuff in the same way.
But the thing is, but I thought you said it wasn't getting attention, it wasn't getting any smoke. In fact, you guys had pushed us back into the basement. Huh? Interesting. Fascinating. Okay. Fascinating.
because what they're realizing is that the gender wars, especially the black gender wars, are useful for fueling right-wing agendas and improving upon their standing with young men who don't know any better. We're watching the red pill go through a very insidious and, to be honest, scary evolutionary process.
I thought you said it was going away. It was losing power and losing steam. But how is it scary? How is it scary? How in 1 minute it's insignificant, it's shrilling up and dying and going away, and the next minute it's scary. Why would white men care about Tory Lanez and P. Diddy? Interesting.
Process. One thing I've said on numerous occasions is that this whole idea of I got sucked into the red pill by accident is kind of bullshit. It's true to an extent, but it obfuscates an important fact.
How is it true to an extent and it's bullshit? Okay. Did a user appreciate you? And the thing is no facts, okay? The thing is, that's pandering, right? You throw out a bunch of buzzwords, okay, without anything. In other words, if you throw enough mud onto the wall, something will stick. That's what he's doing, right? There is no point.
That I need people to realize, which is that red pill ideology is only a few short steps from normal attitudes that exist about sex and gender. And
if it's only a few short steps from, if it's only a few short steps, that means it's normal. It's normal. And that's the problem that you're facing. This is real life. It's normal.
The reason why it's so hard to consistently combat these ideologies is because we're combating normative opinions that almost all of us have been soaking up since childhood.
Yes, knucklehead. Yes. That's why it works, fool.
And this is why I've never taken seriously the left isn't doing enough for men argument, because the reality is we're doing everything we can under the circumstances that are presented to us. What that means is there's only so much
bullshit. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. And everybody knows it. That's bullshit. FD signifier equals another attention star, blue pill panderer, grifter, and male feminist gynocrat. Yep. Yes, what he is. Marshawn, appreciate you.
Creators and commentators can do on their own when they are in fact going against the very grain of society. The normative attitudes and opinions that lead to red pill ideology have to be deconstructed from the ground up, and doing that with YouTube videos is not easy. And when you're trying to change people's baseline opinions on society and gender and relationships and all that, you're going to sound radical and outlandish. Even
the thing is, if you can't ground it to boots on the ground, stuff on the ground, stuff that's actually going on and basically dealing with people's lived experience, okay, you're not, okay? FD came over here to delineate the black manosphere, corrected him. He didn't listen. Then he got flogged on Themis and Thought for not bringing our scalps. Because they can't do. What happened to Themis and Thought?
Even when you're not, and that's going to make it very difficult to not turn normal dudes off when you're trying to show them a better way. So it's not that people aren't trying, it's that trying is not easy. And whenever I hear that excuse, I know it's coming from people who want to be coddled instead of taught to do better, who don't want their internal biases and misogyny and issues with women challenged, but want to somehow be accepted in.
Or issues with women, but nobody challenges women's issues with men. The problem is not the men, okay? The problem is the women, which is why the women are being addressed. And you're trying to get men to change, to accept these women, okay, these modern women. It's not going to work, okay?
Regarded as doing better with those problems when they haven't actually. Doing this type of work, this type of content requires us to be critical of things that a lot of people see as...
No, his wife is a feminist, okay? He married a feminist. That's why he talks like that. She sounds just like him.
Mundane and inoffensive, and that's just the road we're on. For example, a couple of weeks ago, a lot of people got mad at Anthony Mackie for a couple of comments that he made on the Pivot podcast.
In the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our communities.
In fact, the manosphere didn't get mad. The manosphere actually applauded him. For the most part, they applauded him. Okay? It was the left that didn't like what Anthony Mackie said. Okay? It was the left.
A lot of people, these comments are no big deal. They're benign, in fact. And I'm inclined to understand why they feel like this. However, what many people, myself included, people on the left know is that this type of worldview is rooted in patriarchal thinking.
Yes, it is. Okay. That's why the manosphere had no problem with it. Okay. Y'all had a problem with it. But the thing is, the same thing that Anthony Mackie is proposing is the same thing that you want us to do for women free. Okay, same thing. Because that's the same thing all y'all calling for. Protect black women, okay? Protect black women. In fact, we just had a dude talk about protecting black women, okay? About worrying about black women's feelings and approaching them a certain way. Anthony Mackie was saying the exact same thing, all right? But y'all too dumb. Y'all dumbasses are too silly and wedded into this feminist shit to actually see that what he was talking about, because you're actually asking for traditional masculinity. That's what you're really asking for, okay? The thing is, you want traditional masculinity with what? Feminist characteristics. Okay? He cannot be a man and kiss your ass at the same time. Yeah, he's stringing buzzwords together. Yeah. It's not explaining anything. Yep, that's true. Eagle eyes, a little support. That dude needs the Reverend X. The thing is, they see the gravy train.
And these can end up being patriarchal dog whistles, even when a person is not trying to be misogynistic or patriarchal. Because the phrases he used are just as normal in that podcast situation between men who have shown themselves to have sense and not be on red pill bullshit. Shout out to the Pivot Podcast. We'll come there in a second. But that language is also just as common on the worst red pill podcast.
That's why you think it is, because it's true, okay? Because it's true. And you were just saying that the manosphere had a problem with it, and they didn't.
And it shows you how insidious this actually is. Those of us who've been involved in this discourse online recognize that pattern, and a lot of them jumped on Mackie, and maybe it was a bit unfair. Maybe it was an overreaction. But when you're trying to fundamentally shift society, as I said earlier, that's kind of how it works. We've seen how...
You cannot fundamentally shift society without the environment to shift society. Most of the shifting in society has to do more with the environment. And basically, with Trump in... and the money being gone, the society's going to shift the other way. You're on the wrong side of history, bro.
His seemingly uncontroversial words and opinions about manhood have been used to justify more toxic and extreme ideologies about women and gay people, etc. Even if that wasn't his intent, we have to address what was actually said. Your intent is one thing, your impact is another, and you have to address both of those. Like, maybe you're a guy that unironically still calls black women females in 2025, or you might say something like, black women aren't submissive enough. And my instinct privately would be to just try to say, hey, don't do that still. Like, stop it. Stop.
Stop shaming it, man. You look better with your glasses to me, but anyhow.
Stop sounding like you're from 2004. I thought we fixed all this. I might just see you as
2004. Okay. You thought we fixed all this. Who is we? Okay. Who died and made you guys leader of the free world? Adrian, our favorite Lamborghini liberal. Yeah, champagne comments. Let me play that real quick. Hold up. Let me play that real quick. Okay, let's see if I got it. Because Adrian sent that to me. See if I can find it. And these are amongst the bread pillars, okay? Well, these are actually his people, but the black manosphere is not actually his people, okay?
House, and low key, my house and Hassan's house are on the same level. He just lives in California. Like, Hassan do not live in a big, ridiculous mansion.
How mad about a man having a house?
Well, because there is the champagne socialist thing, which is if you talk this left wing a lot, it does look away if you're living in like
you're a champagne socialist, yes.
Extensive luxury.
It look a little crazy. It look a little crazy.
When Hassan bought the house, I was first off brand new. I didn't know who Hassan was, and I was like, whatever. When he bought the Porsche like a year later, I was like, Hassan, you is kind of set some limits.
Okay, first of all, I leased it. You always said you bought it for some reason. No, I mean, I could. To be fair, I do take care of my family and also do a lot of charity, but even then, like, it's not a matter of living within my affordability. I'm not going to say living within my means, because last time I said that, my ESL ass, people yelled at me over that too. When I say living within my means, I mean like things that I can afford. I can afford significantly more. The reason why I leased the Porsche was because it's an EV. I mean, it's devalued tremendously. I think what's really funny ultimately about this conversation of like, what can you own? What are rich people allowed to own is like not ever a point of contention, nor needs to be an important part of this conversation. Of course, when I used to say this when I was broke, people were like, okay, you're making a lot of sense. When I say it now, motherfuckers look at me and say, oh, you're just saying that because you're rich and you're a cult leader and you want to make sure that as a cult leader that, you know, your sycophantic cult members don't yell at you over it. My point on this is not changed. It's not about how much money you have. I mean, mean, there is obviously an upper limit that I think shows systemic failure, but it's not about how much money you make. It's how you make that money.
People mad at us.
In other words, champagne socialists and limousine liberals are the same thing, right? Okay. The limousine liberals. That's why I call them that. Okay. That's why trusting them, listening to what they say, is you got to take it with a grain of salt, because I did. I found that up close to person. I used to be around a lot of limousine liberals, okay? And that's how I finally found out about the left. The left is not always what they say they are, okay? Including this motherfucker, okay?
A dickhead, right? Who hasn't learned to do better at this point. Or maybe you just got out of a relationship with a woman that disrespected you and was materialistic and emotionally abusive, and you're resorting to old frameworks of engaging with women.
Yes, because the framework that you used didn't work, okay? Yes, of course. He thinks what he learned from the academy is going to change reality, but like Denzel said in training, they forget that. They teach you at the academy that will get you killed out here. Exactly.
As a coping mechanism. That's very much possible. But both of those things, like, you see how that still pulls you into a certain framework that has to be addressed, even if it's stemming from a place of hurt on your part. And so under those circumstances, if I have to correct you, are you going to roll with what I'm saying? Or are you going to be a bitch nigga and go piss into your...
So in other words, if you don't roll into this intersection of feminist, soft ass, panda bear lifestyle, you're going to be a bitch nigga and roll with masculinity and Kevin, okay? Who's making a greater impact, you or Kevin? Okay, and you got way more females on your side. Who's making a bigger impact? Okay, if that was the case, how come the females the women don't come to you? Because women start calling themselves females. Okay, they start calling themselves females because the women don't come to you about how to get a man, how to start relationships. Okay, and they have to come to Kevin. Why did they come to Kevin? Because your shit don't work. Ask your dating coaches.
Your favorite Kevin Samuels videos while you lick your wounds. I'm just being real with y'all. Maybe you blame Christianity, Ronald Reagan, hip hop, a lot of things. A lot of people are to blame for this, but the bottom line is, a lot of y'all hate women. You don't realize it.
You hate women, but you don't realize it. Okay, you're telling us from your mind we hate women. We just have this undergirding, low-key contempt, unrecognized contempt of women. Okay, and black women don't have it for us, even though they don't even hide it. They say it online. Okay,
it's so funny because y'all are like caught up in these hate spirals online. I had a moment. I was gonna make a whole video about this, but I'm gonna talk about this here. We off script right now.
Okay. I'm gonna save it for another video. My motherfucker, you should have said it. Why? Well, you should have put it in here. You don't have to be nice to us. Okay. If you just call us bitch niggas, okay, that don't mean you were nice. You wasn't nice then.
Where was I? Niggas get on my nerves. Get on my nerves. Somewhat connected to that, these red pill spaces know that y'all are addicted to this negative feedback loop, that if they show you things that make you angry and you don't like, that you'll share it, you'll keep watching, you'll comment, you'll engage, and thus you'll get them.
I wonder who else does that. FD? How do you think you got to 1 million, FD? How do you think you got to 1 million? What you're trying to do is copy us. Theo says, I used to be a man down like this fool. Thank you for saying. Theo, you were out of the country, man. You wasn't even part of this. Nails on the chalkboard. Yeah, I know. But y'all asked for it, man. Because personally, cats like this, they're worse than pedestrians, right? He's a civilian. He knows better. He's in it to make money. Like War Sergeant Willie Pete said, once people start cashing checks, all of a sudden their ideology start to change. They chase the dollar instead of the truth. Okay, that's what he's doing right now.
Paid, and that's why the manosphere was so successful for so long, and that's how they taught these more evil entities to hook y'all in to following them to do worse shit to the world. Then I think, in my heart of hearts, I think y'all wouldn't really be about if you could take time to like figure out what's going on.
What your thing is, you haven't explained it. You're using buzzwords and non sequiturs instead of telling us exactly what you're talking about, right? Okay. In other words, you guys have to figure it out. I'm just going to give you the overview.
Misogyny just means hatred of women, and it's so
no shit.
prevalent and so easily like subterfuge in the way a lot of people think that y'all don't even like recognize how ridiculous it looks when you follow people like Just Pearly Things, an actual woman who didn't follow any of the things she said and talked about in her content, but you watch.
She does, actually. Believe it or not, she actually does.
Her anyway because she seemingly made other people feel bad, which made y'all feel better. The aforementioned Kevin Samuels somehow had a huge female audience because this hatred of women, misogyny, is not a gender specific.
Basically, then you had no idea what Kevin was about, son. Okay, really be just what is slower than a pedestrian. He's not slow. He's lying. Okay, the thing is, he's not slow. He's lying. He's not an idiot. He's lying. Okay. He knows that shit's played out.
Big issue. I argue that the female audience Kevin Samuels gained is a key reason as to why he grew so fast on YouTube. Many of the people.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it was. You argue with it. Everybody said that. Okay.
Spreading this info on Meg Thee Stallion are other black women because the hatred of women is a genre of media at this point, and it's an easy way to get attention, to build a platform, and it resonates with people because it's an entrance part of how we think and work as a society. It is not like, and as I said before, it's evolving. So a lot of those like overt manosphere figures are dying off, which is ironic because if you want to take some of the manosphere figures at their word, they're just trying to teach guys how to talk to girls and teach them how not to get played. And
yeah, that's part of it. Okay, we've evolved into the political realm, which is why you're here.
How to dress and whatnot and have men's spaces where they can speak their mind, right? If that is what it is, it never was, but whatever. Let's say that was the case. All of the things that made those spaces possible are being subsumed into people like Asmongold and Aiden.
Aiden Ross, okay. Asmongold and Aiden Ross, bullshit, okay.
Ross and academics who regularly are dabbling and participating in red pill rhetoric and activating misogynistic hate movements. I saw
they are not even significant. Okay, Aiden Ross is not significant in this. Aiden Ross has his own sphere. Okay,
a couple of weeks ago, academics posting about Cassie after Cassie got on the stand pregnant and talked about how Diddy beat and peed on her for 3 or 4 days straight. He had the nerve to focus on the fact that she, as a victim, told Diddy where Kid Cudi lived. Like Diddy wouldn't have beat her ass if she didn't tell him in the first place.
She's in the game, okay? She's not an innocent victim. She's in the game, okay? It's like a corner boy basically dissing his supplier and getting his ass beat, okay? The Latinos don't play that. Basically, Cassie would have been in a graveyard with her head cut off.
And y'all fell for it because you're not smart, because you're not logical. Your only logic is, does what I'm saying right now make a woman angry? If yes, say it. I saw dudes on Twitter last week calling Deontay Kyle a panderer, and the same dude
he is a panderer. Yeah,
are joking about killing women a week later. Hashtag pander at this point. Hashtag pander.
I'm glad you recognize yourself. You know, I'm actually gonna cut that one out. Simp. Okay. That is you. I'm glad you recognize who you really are. Okay.
Video about it. You already know, but still, fuck y'all niggas. Anyway, back to Deontay Kyle. I'm really happy that he's emerged, and it's not just him, because there was a moment where I often felt like I was alone as a black
as a panda bear. Yep.
Voice talking this talk with a decent sized platform. I swear.
I don't hate double X's, hate their behavior, intentions in a system that has allowed them to harm men from womb to tomb and act entitled to be worshipped. But the thing is, he doesn't explain how the passport bros going overseas looking for wives and women is expressing hatred for women. Why is that? They came out of this space. They came out of this space. He doesn't know that the reason that Kevin started talking to women, to black women especially, is because the men in his high value men in his circle actually wanted wives. Okay, they wanted to get married. Why would you want to get married to somebody that you hate? But he's lying.
2022, I sometimes felt like Jon Snow at the Battle of the Bastards with my sword in hand, watching the gross, nastiest, mustiest niggas and their weird.
Why you sound like a woman? Okay, doing this shit. FT switched up on which content creator over he shares to stifle exposure for the black manosphere. He used to share BGS real quick. What happened? I don't know. I don't know. I don't care. Y'all have to tell me. I don't know. I don't know, because I don't really follow him like that. So
weirdo channels coming toward me, standing like a boss, ready to go to battle. Of course, you have had folks like Foreign Man in Foreign Land, Lil Bill and Turb at the time, but now we're seeing an explosion of black men making anti-misogynistic, and really not even anti-misogynistic, because like, it doesn't even have to be that deep. It really is just dudes with common sense that have been around the whole time that don't hate women, grabbing the microphone from these lame ass niggas that got propped up by the algorithm. So yes, Deontay Kyle is blowing up on podcast land and TikTok. I talked to Professor Odie on a few occasions and he built a large following doing the same shit. Justin Scott has blown up on TikTok.
They're pandering. They're trying to fill in Derek Jackson's spot. Okay.
Talking Instagram in the past few months. I mentioned the Pivot podcast earlier, and they're not perfect, but they're really good at addressing these issues and spreading.
No, they don't. They don't talk about this crap. Okay, they don't. They're sports leaning, sports oriented podcast. That's why they get a follow. It has nothing to do with the shit that you're talking about.
A certain type of ideology around what real black masculinity looks like. And speaking of imperfect, Mark Lamont Hill on the Joe Budden podcast has been a revelation of what's possible when niggas with.
Why is Mark Lamont Hill's on a Joe Budden podcast? Mark Lamont Hill wouldn't have been on a Joe Budden podcast 3 years ago. But the thing is, since the Democrats got their ass kicked, okay. Their ass kicked in 2024, obliterated, not ass kicked, obliterated. Okay. Mark Lamont Hill's out there chasing coins. Okay. Because he got popped off the mainstream. Appreciate you, Ms. Delta. His use of the N word seems it is performative. Okay. He's trying to sound normal.
But sense are allowed to penetrate red pill echo chambers. It's ironic that they will say that we're the ones in echo chambers and that we're the ones pandering, but go look at them old Kevin Samuels videos and watch them dudes twerking in the comment section in the chat, dropping thousands of dollars alive on Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, those are his constituents. Yes, they were. Okay, but you don't talk about yours with your followers, your million followers twerking.
It was just so he'll talk bad about black women, but y'all call us panderers. And this is just those who have made a splash recently. This is not even those on the way, just getting started and bubbling beneath the surface of relevancy. Going back to the whole the left doesn't care about men thing. Again, always been a cop-out to me, said by people who paradoxically themselves are not really trying to move left for the most part. What those people really mean is that the left is expecting a level of accountability and decorum from men who want to be respected in our spaces or respected in general.
In other words, if you don't kiss women's asses and you don't talk the language, you're not part of the left, okay? And a lot of the women are leaving the left. That's what you don't see. A lot of women are leaving the left.
Online, but they aren't ready for that level of commitment yet. They want to be babied and coddled and not be checked on their toxic behavior. And they want to be able to act like something's wrong with the world if somebody points to them and says, hey, you fucked up when you said this and when you did this and when you thought this. They don't want to actually be corrected. They just want to set the standard at the comfort zone that they're stuck at. And don't get me wrong, there's a problem with purity testing that happens in leftist spaces, but not nearly to the degree.
Yes, there's a problem with purity tests, exactly, and that's how come most lefties don't want you in there, because there is a purity test, and you got to sound like him to be part of the left. I don't know, because I was part of the goddamn left. Okay, the left didn't like me. Okay, the left did not like me because I told the freaking truth, which is why I had to stop being part of the quote unquote left. Okay. I stop being part of the quote unquote left, because a lot of this shit was bullshit. Okay, they were lying. Caught them lying. Okay, I said, I'm cool, guys. Trust me, FD. Probably, yeah. The thing is, he didn't have no street swag. You know, because I told him. Okay, I told him when he first got here, right, talking all that feminist lingo. I said, can you go into a barbershop and talk to guys with the way you're talking? At least he learns. One thing about being in school at that level, especially postgraduate, okay, in the graduate studies, okay, at least you learn. At least you learn how to learn, okay? He's been studying this. What he's trying to do, like he said, he's trying to build a counter narrative, right? He's trying to take our building blocks, the way we build ours, to actually counter what we're doing. But the thing is, it's not going to work. Okay, the environment is not there for it.
That these complaining ass niggas think there is. But even that is starting to shift, because there are so many more men just owning the problem in better, more visible spaces. I've always believed that red pill ideology, the way those dudes move and look, at its core is unpopular. Normal dudes, even misogynistic and patriarchal ones, which is still a thing, look at the red pill niggas like they're fucking weirdos.
No, they do not. Actually, they don't. That's the problem. That's how come they're trying to they actually look at you as weirdos. red pill dudes, okay, versus you, okay. Why do you think Fresh and Fit blew up? Okay. Why do you think Kevin blew up? Okay. Red pill dudes compared to you, okay, are more than normal. Okay. You come up with go up and start talking misogyny and intersectional feminism, all that kind of stuff to our average dude, man. He gonna think you're a freaking weirdo. He gonna ask you, did you change your tampon today? That's what he's gonna ask you.
Because they are. But misogyny and patriarchy are not unpopular in themselves. And what we have finally is a wave of men pushing directly against them.
Misogyny and patriarchy does not exist. Okay, that's how come you can get Shannon Sharp on trial. Okay, that's how come a stripper can actually accuse a basketball player of some kind of SA. Okay, basically, patriarchy doesn't exist anymore. What we have is in my opinion, is a state-run gynocracy. Okay. The Leviathan, they call it the overarching state that Hobbes calls a Leviathan, that actually channels how societies actually work. Okay, is there? It has its thumb on the scales for women, and has had its thumb on the scales for women for the last 50, 60 years. Right? That's like when women have more degrees, have more jobs. DEI was actually 75% white women and like 90% women. And the other another 5% was gays and transsexuals, and men got even black men got the short end of the stick. Okay, the thing is that okay, you said that that the left actually works for men. How come when Donald Trump's only been in office for for less than 6 months? How come with Donald Trump, okay, got in and killed DEI, black men got 100,000 more jobs? 100,000. Instead, everybody else is headed down, but black men got 100,000 more jobs. How is that a bad deal for black men? How? How, Sway? It's called a free market. Customers will eventually reject a product that does not serve them, i.e. feminism. Feminism does not work, okay? Even women know feminism does not work. So they talk about being out of touch and delusional. Yep. I said I saw FD saw KS pull that Saks in that 6-figure automobile and that $10,000 suit with that $1,000 cologne. He was in the same city when KS became a millionaire. It's jealousy. Yep, I believe it. And say what policy is he advocating for? Is it always Jermaine's fault? Basically, it's always Jermaine's fault. Basically, with FD is where it's all about the Benjamins, baby, as they say. So it's called free market. Okay. Darren Jones says these women gonna get tired of all them pandering to them and marrying out. Some of them are already starting to talk about it. The truth can't be voiced. The thing is, the winter is here, basically. Okay, and words don't make you warm. Does his elevator go up to the top floor? Hard to listen to this delusional. He's not. He's lying. Okay, he's not delusional. He's lying. This dude really is in his bubble. The movement has spread to China, South Korea, Australia, Japan. Nations can't afford to subsidize female feminism anymore. They can't. They cannot. Anyway, I'll play a little bit more of this and we're out of here.
That and the way that tends to present itself online and how it tricks all these different people into thinking that this is normal ways of thinking. It's happening in a way that's resonating on multiple frequencies, not just FD Signifying and his channel and channels, but different dudes from different walks of life and different ways of presenting are coming to the same conclusions. And that's how we start a wave. Now, understand, this is a wave. The political moment and rise of Trump is helping to make all this possible, and we're still fighting an uphill battle, so we need folks to keep pushing. But I do just want to claim that victory and the amount of growth and momentum that we have now compared to how it felt in this space 3 or 4 years ago. So shout out to everyone I mentioned in this video. Shout out to
really what he's getting is a lot of the lefties that were on CNN and mainstream media have now discovered what? Social media. So you're going to get that bump. You're going to get that bump. So all the lefties that look down upon social media and people like you, okay, got their ass whipped by by the manosphere and the red pill. Okay, now they need a counter, and you're the counter. Well, let's see how you do. No, only winter is here, but we will be lucky to divert an ice age. That is true. That is very true, right? Okay, like day after tomorrow, right? FD says save everyone that you can, right?
To y'all for watching. If you're new here and you want more, let me introduce you to the suddenly much larger FD Signifier network, as I now have 5 different channels going on. The newest additions are FD Streams and FD Games, where I host replay clips of my Twitch streams, which low-key I guess makes it 6 channels altogether, but whatever. There's also a Signify podcast, which hosts talks that are more in-depth and political than what you got here of me ranting and yelling at niggas I'm tired of talking about on the internet. That is probably the height of my intellectual content or intellectual conversations. And lastly, there's this channel where I host my hot takes and do commentary at least bi-monthly. And finally, the flagship main channel where my long-form video essays live. Beyonce videos out now, Lupe Fiasco videos being edited as we speak. Got ideas around sinners and the black church and other things, and Tyler Perry video hopefully happening in December, right? Stop asking. Now, you don't have to watch or subscribe to all these channels. Some of my viewers like hearing me talk about hip hop, and they don't want to hear me talk about labor movements on the podcast or watch me play Tekken on Twitch. But I know some folks do, so I'm diversifying. If this sounds like a lot, it is. I do have a team of editors now, but I write and film everything myself, which is why sometimes production isn't what it needs to be. I apologize for those moments, but I think it's just maybe the charm of it all. All that said, I'm really proud of what I built here. I wouldn't be able to do it without y'all who are watching right now this long into the video, but I also have to take a moment to thank the other entity that made.
All right. Okay. That's it. All right. Okay. That's my reaction to FD Signifier. He's lying. Okay. He's grifting. Okay. He's grifting. Maybe I'll take a look at his long form content instead of this bullshit that he just presented. Okay. Anyhow, we're at an hour. That's right on time. And I said he's the reason the left is losing as bad as it is. Folks recognize things are not working in the current environment. I think I'll do the Kristen Cares Nicole Michelle Nicole Michelle video from the from what is it? I forget what the name of the thing is now. There's so much stuff in my head. Okay, I'll do that one that Louis sent me because a lot of stuff that Kristen Cares and Nicole Michelle were saying are exactly the same thing that we were saying, and those were coming out of women's mouths. And obviously, they do not hate women. Okay. Oh no, but the thing is, some people. He gets under some people's skin, okay? And I had 5 or 6 people send me the same video, okay? Not just content creators, okay? 5 or 6 people. And this is not new. This is not new. You know, and I'm not mad at no black man making his money. I ain't, okay? God knows any black man that's making money that's legal, okay? That's legal. I have no issue with, okay? But thing is, motherfucker, you ain't got a lot to kick it over here, okay? Clubhouse, yeah. But I might do that one tomorrow. Later on, I'm thinking of doing on my Master Teachers Respond about the dollar and how crypto and China and the BRICS actually rolling the dollar. I might do that later. For sure, Turtle Bitcoin, because I had 5 people send me that video, and Turtle Bitcoin did it on actually did it on Patreon. I should do it on Patreon, but I probably would do it on my Master Teachers Respond channel. It might be later on tonight if I get some time. Anyhow, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go, and appreciate you everybody for donating. I don't think I got any cash apps. I will check now that I'm thinking about it. No, I didn't get any. Okay. All right, cool. I will see you guys later. AB said he's gonna be roasting the Big J Triple X. One of my old stepchildren. Okay, I used to be a step crash test dummy for certain people in this in so-called manosphere. So. And he's going to be doing that. You're going to be doing that in about an hour, AB? Okay. Anyhow, let me get out of here, y'all. Appreciate you guys for stopping through. appreciate the donations as always. I got a I got a big backlog of for the Black Pill Gnostic page, man. I'm gonna have to start putting it on wax and start putting it up. So look for a lot of content coming up over there. I got at least about 5 or 6 videos on the docket. I just need to just go ahead and push them out because I haven't done it in a while. So look for that. Look for a couple things. And I saw the Inside China Business Substack post about crypto and the dollar. Basically he's been talking about that for about a year. So this is not new. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine. I'm actually going to go through all of the ones that he talked about as far as crypto, and then bypassing the banks and the dollar, which also talks about them bypassing other things like grain markets and crap like that. So anybody that really wants the cutting edge stuff about what's going on between China and the U.S. in this economic war, that's where you go. Okay. Sir Harry asked what happened to Russia. I'm surprised more nations aren't aggressively. They are, but okay. I'm not going to talk about it because I've talked about this, Willie R. Okay. And you're going to have to stop being a civilian, I mean, a pedestrian for a second. If you really want to know most of the inside stuff, man, we've been talking about this on in my Patreon for the last 2 years, okay? In fact, I talked about this before it started happening. Because what's going on right now has been happening since 2009. They didn't just start wanting to get off the dollar. They've been wanting to get off the dollar since the mortgage crisis. Okay. Wish me luck. I'm finished this forced double. Okay. Oh, okay. Man, you and Mr. Z, man. Y'all and Mr. Z, y'all reckless, man. You guys are reckless. I could never do doubles, man. So you guys, LAXT, you must not be American, man. You must be Haitian or Jamaican, man, doing them doubles. Anyhow, let me get out of here, y'all. I'll see y'all later.
What can I say? Mamba out.